My name is Ukandi Adje of Fogoja Media. Today we are talking about God according to our culture. Because we understand that in every African culture, they have the name for God or the description for God. And what this description expresses is not a being seated in the sky, but it describes the invisible divine force that holds or created the universe. I am from Beteland in Obudu in Cross River State, Nigeria. And in Bete, we describe God as Unim, and the etymological meaning of Unim is invisibility. So, based on the etymological expression of Unim in my own local dialect, we are not expected to envision God as a being with white beards seated up in the sky, watching over every evil and every good, and expected to reward everyone according to their deed in the last days or at the time of their death.
Watch this.
Believes in the African traditional religion, he believes in God. But he doesn't believe in the type of God that the white folks believe in. The white folks believe that God is an oversized white man sitting on a throne somewhere up in a place called heaven. The African traditional religion teaches you that there's a large number of gods. You have tree gods, sun gods, moon gods, earth gods, star gods, and all like that. Then a group of the little gods make up the big God. So you take all the little gods and merge them together and you get the great God, which is the universe itself. It never started, it never was created, and it will never have an end. And so therefore they said that the great God is nature itself, the universe, and they believed in a doctrine of the Trinity. God is the physical universe. Christ is the mental universe.
This expression tells us that there is an invisible force that is present and is orchestrating all things on earth. It is present in every element of nature, every element that holds the cosmic universe together. In the water, in the air, in the sun, in the fire, on the earth, the plant, the animal. This force is embedded in all of them, and they all form the universal cosmic components that put all life together. What this means is that without the force of all these elements, the universe cannot function effectively. God is present in water, and we cannot exist without water. God is present in air, and we cannot exist without air. God is present in the earth, and we cannot exist without the earth. God is present in fire. We cannot exist without fire. You can find fire in our body through the temperature. Just touch yourself, you see that you are a bit heated. That is fire. That is heat. That is hotness. If you become too cold, if your temperature is below 0 degree, you die because God have left. That is heat. There may be water. There may be air. Your nostrils are open for you to inhale, to breathe in and breathe out. But your temperature dropped to 0 degree. You die because fire have left you. If you don't drink water, though you can live without water, but because your body is already made up of water, your body is 70% water. You find water in your saliva, the urine, your every component, even the sperm that reproduces a fellow human being, that is made up of water. Everything about human is water. Air, fire, earth. This is how African people understand God, nature, not as a being seated in the sky, but as the divine force that harmonizes the universe.
They were cutting off your testicles and your genitalia. They weren't doing that just to be mean. Their whole quest has been to cut off your life germ. See, the power is in your seed. All right? It's not in nothing about size and all of that people say. The power is in your seed because you all are the greatest men on earth, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Can't nobody take that from you. Now, I know we got some of the guys in the gutter. We got some of the guys on crack. We got the guys in prison. But that doesn't negate who you really are. And the only person that don't know who the black man is the black man.
With thousands of ethnic groups and traditions. So, beliefs about God vary while sharing many common terms. Many African traditions believe that God is the creator, meaning God created the heavens, the earth, the humans, the animals, and all nature. Many African cultures believe that God is the supreme. God is supreme and all-powerful. They believe that God is greater than all other spiritual beings and is the highest authority. They believe that God is invisible and is spiritual. They believe that God is not usually represented by idols in many African traditional religions. The ancestors are not considered to be equal to God. Instead, they believe that God is the supreme being. And like I've rightly illustrated, God is present in every aspect of nature. The conceptualization of the imaginary being in the sky is not from African cosmology, but based on European principle, or you can call it the creed from the Maasai, especially, that brought about the principle of father, mother, son. But these are all principles in African nature. We will go deep into this. How Africans express these principles. There is the principle of male and female that create. Without these two principles, nothing can be created. The principle of father and mother. The African people, based on observation of nature, they know and understood that without the masculine and the feminine energy coming together, there can be no creation. And this principle is present in every aspect of nature. For instance, the electricity that we humans discovered. Human beings discovered electricity. Electricity is in the sky. The sun gives electricity. And we can harness electrical energy from other sources. But it must, before you can make it function and light up your home or cause any appliances that function based on this energy to work, two principles must be observed, which is the positive and the negative. You cannot use only positive and light up a bulb or turn on a television. Our phones we are using, they work based on this order. They cannot function without the positive energy and the negative energy as it is described. You and I, listening or speaking to each other right now, we cannot be given birth to without the masculine energy and the feminine energy coming together. This is nature. This is based on nature. And it's a principle that we must follow if we will make things work according to natural order. Then you look at the principle of, let's say, the Trinity. The Christian religion call it Trinity. But in Africa, we saw it, the principle is in African tradition. the father, mother, and son principle. This is expressed within the Ankh. The Ankh symbol is a symbol that represents continuity of life. All animal, nature, plants cannot continue to exist without this principle, this trinity, this principle of three: father, mother, son, their offspring. Father, mother, son, their offspring. Father, mother will come together, the principle of two. Then they will generate the third, which is new life. These principles are hidden in ancient books of wisdom. For instance, new lives must emerge in the order. New life emerges in the order of three. You say Jonah was in the belly of a fish for 3 days. Then he was given birth to. The fish vomited him. He was transformed from a man who was afraid to preach in Nineveh to a man who went to Nineveh and win souls. Christ died. As for when he was still alive, he wasn't serving like he wasn't worshipped as a savior. But when he died and resurrected after 3 days, new life, he became worshipped as a savior. Apostle Paul was blind. He went to the house of Ananias. After 3 days, his eyes was open and he became the great evangelist. This is the principle of the continuity, the continuous regeneration. Your mother, your father need to come together before you and I can be given birth to. This is the principle of three. These are all principles. The ancient order of wisdom preservation used mythologies to preserve these stories. But you need to tap into this aspect of knowledge for you to decipher the truth and the principle and the order which this knowledge is preserved for generations. So we Africans, we are the people that observes nature and derived this wisdom from nature. Mythologies started in Africa. We preserve knowledge in stories before Europeans. Europeans only plagiarize the story. They study our own story, replace it with their own story. But the principle is still there if you understand the fundamental knowledge of this order. The question is, did God create men in his image, or did men create God in their own images? Here comes the answer. Men created God in their images. That's why European God looks like European. Arab gods look like Arabs. Chinese gods look like the Chinese. Indian gods look like the Indians. And African god look like African. If they say African gods is evil and demonic, why are they keeping the symbol of African gods in their museums?